Welcome back to Market Day Reports. I'm Chief Meteorologist C.T. Tonklin here alongside with meteorologist Natalie Noah. Looking at weather conditions across the country, we have a sluggish moving low pressure system that continues to drift slowly from Kansas heading towards Missouri. And this system is tapping into a wealth of moisture that's already available across many areas of the deep south, meaning that we have moisture coming in from the Gulf. And we're cranking out a lot of soaking rains. Again, we've been dealing with some more soaking rains, especially across the drought-stricken area of the central and the southern high plains. We saw a few weeks ago some substantial amounts of rainfall, especially across the Texas Panhandle, and we've been seeing another round of some soaking rains again across the southern plains. So some positive news here, and in less than 30 minutes from right now, in my next weather update, I'll get you caught up on how much rain that we've been tracking across portions of the central plains here. Again, our low pressure system, winds moving counterclockwise around that particular system, drawing in some moist air, also working in tandem with a high pressure ridge that is at least at the time being keeping the state of Florida dry at this hour. Meanwhile, we've had some slightly cooler conditions across much of the Corn Belt, and as these warm winds coming in from the Gulf clash with some of that cooler air present again across areas of the mid-Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley, we will be looking at some more showers and storms forming along a warm front. Also, there is a cold front that's sweeping just off to the east of the Texas and Florida, Texas and Oklahoma panhandles that'll touch off some additional severe storms. Farther west we go. Zero change whatsoever since last week. High pressure still commanding extremely dry conditions, and that's putting a heavy demand on irrigation issues for, again, a lot of our farmers and ranchers out west. Meanwhile, across the eastern U.S., a fairly moderate setup, just some lingering clouds across the northeast at this time, and we'll see a lot of rainfall working its way towards the eastern seaboard as we head into tomorrow and especially on Wednesday. So here's our forecast map as we look ahead into tomorrow. We'll see the progression of our low pressure system moving into Missouri. The trailing cold front will be responsible for a few strong thunderstorms stretching from anywhere from southern Illinois, western Kentucky, southward all the way into areas of Louisiana and into Texas. But nonetheless, we will see numerous amounts of showers and storms across the lower Mississippi Valley, and also some very humid conditions will prevail across the southeastern U.S. Meanwhile, there is a ridge of high pressure that will command some dry weather conditions across the Great Lakes region and portions of the Ohio Valley westward into the upper Mississippi Valley. Look for some residual clouds and some spotty showers and perhaps a thunderstorm in some areas of New England and the northeast U.S. as we head towards tomorrow. We will continue the very, very dry and a fairly hot forecast, especially for the southwest, with highs that'll be reaching 100 degrees plus, especially in the desert southwest. And there will be a stationary front that'll be draped across the northern Rockies that will leave some clouds in place tomorrow in the forecast. But that stationary front will shift into gear on Wednesday, and as it moves into the northern plains, it'll touch off a few showers and storms from the Dakotas into areas of Minnesota and also into areas of Montana. Meanwhile, we'll see that low pressure system slowly moving away from Missouri, heading across the Ohio Valley. Lots of rainfall for the central and eastern Corn Belt, and we'll be looking at showers and storms that'll be extending south of that boundary across much of Tennessee, Kentucky, also into Alabama, Mississippi, and into Louisiana as well. Staying humid with some scattered clouds along the eastern seaboard, and it'll stay very dry and very hot for the southwestern U.S. here. Since we're dealing with a very slow-moving cold front and also a very rich atmosphere filled with a lot of moisture from the Gulf, it's not going to take a lot to crank out some heavy, widespread rainfall amounts across areas of the south over the next few days. In fact, a large area stretching from roughly eastern Texas into much of Louisiana, Arkansas, into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. We'll be looking at a minimum of 3 inches of rain from now through daybreak Thursday. Otherwise, 1 to 2 inches of rain across the remainder of the southeast U.S., plus the Ohio Valley. Could see also up to 3 inches of rainfall in some areas of Kansas and up to an inch heading northward into Minnesota, as well as South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana, and up to an inch of rainfall across the northeast. Part of the country that will not see any rainfall will once again be anywhere west of the Continental Divide all the way towards the west coast. And looking at our medium range forecast here as we head through mid-June, about to the 16th of June, it still looks to be rather dry for much of the Great Basin through the central and southern Rockies and areas of Texas, and that has not really changed that much over the last several weeks in terms of our overall probabilities for dry conditions. We're also looking at chances favoring wetter the above normal precip across the northern plains plus the east coast into areas of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. 8 to 14-day precip outlook looks to be above normal across much of the northern plains, extending across the Ohio Valley and the eastern seaboard, with dry conditions still from the central Rockies into Texas. And we're back to normal. Looks like precipitation from the 11th through the 17th of June, by the way. From the 12th through the 16th of June, above normal temperatures still favored for much of the desert southwest and also the east coast. Cooler than average temperatures across the northern plains, and we'll see an expanding area of the northern plains into the Great Lakes region from the 11th to the 17th of June, seeing cooler than average temperatures, and we'll be looking at above normal temperatures favored for areas of Texas. All right, back to our forecast lows heading into early Tuesday. Still a cool start in the west, 40s and 50s. We'll have some 70s in some areas of the south. Mark Oppold is coming up next with the Market Check just ahead on the Market Day Report.